things that God teaches us through his word is the difference between being in this world with God and being in this world without God. God shows us is that there is a difference between the two of these things, and that for us in relationship to God, we are choosing one or the other. And we have to bear the consequences of those things. When we choose to come into covenant with God, we can expect God's care. When we take God as our God and we commit ourselves to him, then we come underneath his care. And he's saying the difference of this is that you are in this world without God, that you are a sheep without a shepherd. You are, in this world by yourself, and you have no right to really expect God to give you the same things as he gives to those who are taking him in covenant, who are, laboring to fear him and follow him. It's like a marriage vow. If a stranger walked down the street and started yelling at a man and was like, why weren't you home last night? Why didn't you come home? Why weren't you, why don't you help pay my bills? Those types of things. He would say, I don't know you. I don't owe that to you because you've never come into a covenant with me of marriage. And this is very different from a wife who is in covenant with this man. And that's the same thing. What God is telling mankind is you want to come into this covenant with God. You want to come into the protection and come beneath the wing of God and into his safety, like a child turning to their father, returning and having this great parent. And without God, without taking this covenant, you are not having that parent. You don't have that care. In Ephesians 2:12, he says, remember that you were at that time separated from Christ, alienated from the commonwealth of Israel, and strangers to the covenant of promise, having no hope and without God in the world. This is really important for us to talk about because one of the things you will hear quite regularly in the world is when something bad happens, they'll say, well, where was God? Where was God when this happened? And this fails to acknowledge what God is saying, that God is saying, you didn't take me in covenant. You didn't ask to have me in your care. And the difference in life is whether we have God in that way or we don't. And God is promising to those who fear him, and not just saying that they fear him, but really truly labor to obey him and serve him and know him, that he has given himself in covenant to those people, and his promise is with those people. And it's very different for those who don't do this, who don't labor in godliness, who don't labor in righteousness. And what God is telling us is to choose this covenant, to choose God and to have God. And when we do not choose God, we are without God in this world. And all of us can have things in life that make us feel like that's okay. This is the deception of sin. You have maybe a good family, maybe you have a great community, those types of things, and those can make you feel like you're okay, like you're strong, or maybe you trust in yourself and you have some great career, whatever it is. But the bedrock of what it comes down to is that you are without God in this world. You are without a shepherd. You are a sheep on your own, and maybe a wolf will find you, maybe a wolf won't find you, but you are in this world without that care and without that protection. And the difference is coming into that care and protection. And this is what God is inviting mankind into. All of us in this life are going to suffer. The difference for the Christian is that God is sovereign over all of those things in our lives. He is working everything together for the good of those who love God. Not people who just take God in name, but people who are truly loving God and laboring. He is working everything together for their good. And he is holding us steady in this life. He is protecting us. He is teaching us and leading us out of sin and out of deception. And he's using all these things in life together for our holiness, together for leading us to good works and to righteousness. And this is the spiritual protection that God gives. He is faithfully also, providing and he's always providing in his providence. He's always giving us what we need in this life. We have this great shepherd, and to be without God in this world is to be without that guidance. It's to be without that protection. It's to be without that hope of being led in godliness and in righteousness and coming to the end of our lives in victory, having overcome the world, having overcome the devil and sin. There's a great difference between these things, and there's a great difference between a life lived and ultimately poured out in vanity, and a life lived and captured and captivated by the righteousness of Christ and living in a way of great worth. And God is calling out to mankind to take God in this covenant. He's saying, you want me to show up, you want my care, you want to be able to understand where is God when these things happen. He says, take me in covenant, come to me, my hands are open to you. When people accuse God and they say, well, where is God when all these things happen, the question is, are we in covenant with him? Are we truly holding to God? Are we working to serve him? Are we working to live righteously? Because that is what God is saying to mankind. You cannot expect good. You cannot expect God to work everything together for the good of those who don't love God, those who are not contending for holiness, who are not contending to do what is right, contending to live in a way that is pleasing to God and good towards all of mankind. And God is saying, come into this covenant, and have this great shepherd of your souls and live in this life for the things that I will show you, the things that I will teach you, and you can trust in me. You can trust in me to be your shepherd.